Allow me also extend my greetings to our colleagues and also the community out there. As usual, we have our Monday press brief where we give highlights on a few security issues we feel should be brought to the public domain. We also give advice where we find it due for purposes of realigning our communities to the security and safety guidelines. We always give them. I will begin with one of the hottest issues at hand, which is about elections. First and foremost is to remind our viewers, our politicians, their fan base or supporters, how September 3rd to 5th September, we are going to be having a nomination of candidates for local governments. That is the district / city chairpersons, the Lord Mayor, councillors, including those in special interest groups. Now you will ask why security we are concerned. As you are aware, security, that is police and other security agencies, we play a very significant role in the electoral process. And a number of activities within the electoral process touch us because they have a bearing on traffic. Then sometimes the conduct of some political actors has a bearing on safety and security. People fight, people maim each other, people insult each other, and at the end of the day, they end up at police stations as our clients, either as suspects or victims. So it is police's business to speak about the events that are coming on 3rd September up to 5th. So we give the following guidance. First and foremost, the first thing is we advise those persons who are going for nomination to follow the guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission. When they were going to pick forms, we are well aware that they were given a set of guidelines. And some of these guidelines, if by mistake you didn't pick them, at least we are aware that they are on the Electoral Commission's website. Those guidelines should be followed to make our work easy. Some of the content within those guidelines involve things which sometimes create incidents. You find a candidate has not followed the guidelines, then he ends up at crossroads. Sometimes he's rejected, and then he wants to create a scene. This is not the some of these things we have seen them before. Somebody is disqualified because of certain critical technicalities. And what he does, he decides now to take his anger to the streets. Whereas the guidelines were given much earlier. If they are saying, come with verified papers, you come with verified papers. They should not be forged. Don't come with adulterated documents, because you certainly become a police client in one way or the other. And some of these things emerge. Even previous elections, you must have seen that. You find somebody does not have the right qualifications. Then when he is disorganized, he wants to bring his fights to the streets to attract public sympathy and end up in running battles with the police. So those are some of the things we give you early warnings. 2 is the respect for traffic and road safety guidelines. By the time you are vying to lead public, you should be well aware about the most basic regulations of traffic. There's no reason why to go and get nominated, you need to come with the people on rooftops of vehicles. Bodabodas riding very dangerously. Moving with the rowdy groups, some sort of roving bands. This is commonly known as a gully. So some of these things people really need to follow. And as police, we really warn you in time that any conduct by any candidate which we feel somehow, somewhere, is in gross violation of critical regulations, we shall have to really touch you a bit and restrain you. So we call upon people to obey these regulations. One of the things at least you need to appreciate is that you are not alone. For instance, the road, you are not the only road user. There are many others. If you have an urgent business to go and be nominated, others also have other businesses. People are going to hospital. People are going for other trades. People are going to look for food. So we don't want you to disrupt public order in the name of going to get nominated. Then, of course, I've talked about the hooliganism, the lumpen groups, lumpen proletariat, bayaye. So those ones should not be mobilized. You can go and get nominated in a very civil and civilized manner. Lastly about it is we call upon everyone to cooperate with the police. We have shared our contacts before. By now, we believe an average candidate should be having contacts with the police, so that where you find any challenge, we come in and try to salvage. We handle it. There's nothing we cannot solve as long as we cooperate, because of course challenges can emerge anytime. We are there and you find there is a challenge, but which we can solve. We can solve it together, and that's why police is there. It has been briefed. They are aware. We have been preparing, so these elections are not a new thing. What we only need is cooperation and civility. The second issue I wanted to share with the community out there is you recall that on 18th August, we were seated in this boardroom. I issued an advisory on children's safety during the holiday season. It was here, this is where I was seated, that now children are coming into holidays. There are certain safety and security guidelines which the community out there should follow. And we have already said it is the reason why we come every Monday to talk about these things. Out of the 46 million people, there might be some few who really need to be told this. So bear with us whenever we repeat this information. So I advised about fires. I told you that in our experience as police, there are people who leave children in houses and go. Sometimes they leave candles, they leave all sorts of risks or risk material within the reach of children. So we registered an incident in Magamaga Town Council, that is in Mayuge district, where parents left a 5 months old and a 4-year-old in the house. Now, the 4-year-old accessed the matchbox, which was just near him, and he lit the house. Before the neighbors could come to save them, one life had been lost. It almost speaks to what I said on 18th August. That's just 12 days ago. So we still appeal to the community out there. Take these security advisories or safety advisories very seriously. Just like on fires, the way we always advise, have firefighting equipment. If it is a factory, an industry of sorts, do not sleep until you see that the premise has a firefighting capability commensurate with the magnitude and the weight of business you conduct. Those billions can be lost. And you must have followed, although I didn't come with the chronology of incidents, in the past week or two, we have had a number of fires. We have had a number of fires, but every time our firefighters go on ground, in the preliminary assessments, they usually find that one, the equipment was not there. At times, people who see this fire first do not know or do not have their police contacts on quick dial. So you find it takes them time to look for a contact of fire brigade or the nearest police so as to call the police to come and put out the fire. I told you we have also had incidents where we can't access certain premises because of the spatial planning or the way in which the urban woods, the urban areas are built. They are disorganized, so access by police's firefighting equipment becomes a bit of a challenge. So this is an incident we had in Magamaga. It is unfortunate. It speaks to a lot of things which we have discussed here before. So that incident occurred. We managed to put out the fire, but we could not save Kauda Rashid, a 5-month-old juvenile. We also have another incident. This was an incident that occurred in Kitugum, where a gun was recovered in Oriang Juma cell in Kitugum municipality. Here, an assailant attacked revelers who were in a bar. He was armed with an AK-47. He robbed them of smartphones after putting them under arrest. And they managed to fight back, reached him, and disarmed him. When they called the police, we found when he had been put out of action by the Wananchi. We conveyed his body to the mortuary. By the time I came to this press briefing, we had not yet established his identity, but a rifle was recovered with 21 rounds. So on one side, we would like to thank the community for wrestling down this assailant. The only challenge which we always talk about is the issue of mob justice. Mob justice is a bit counterproductive because, like, for instance, we would have established a lot of details about this gentleman and probably the networks he works with. Lastly, there was also an arrest of 6 persons with the counterfeit US dollars, and of course they had also some marijuana on them. This occurred on the 29th August in Arua City, where our intelligence got information about these fellows who had counterfeit. And acting on that information, our teams set a trap where these fellows were got. They were found with the US dollar counterfeit suspected worth 300,000 and in bundles of 100,000. So the suspects include the Minike Dudu, Mumbere Asiha, Akwinza Dudu Mitira, Shadrach Kaputara, Jean-Pierre Hassan, and Musa Ahmed, all allegedly Congolese nationals. Of course, additionally, during the search, we recovered the 12 rolled sticks of marijuana. So all these are in our custody. Shall share with you the photos of the exhibits and the rest of the details. Thank you very much. Allow me to repeat the same in our local dialect, especially Luganda. Nja kutandika ne akalulu. Nga bwe mumanyi tuli mu sayiko ya kalulu. Era nga 3 paka nga 5 tugenda kuba tuli mu nominations za ba candidates aba local government, nga mwe muli district ne city chairpersons, mwe muli lord mayor, ba councillors, nga mba councillors botaddeko aba special interest groups. Kati nga police tuina a lot of interest activities nga zino bwe ziba ziyingirawo. Tuba twagala tusharinge namwe ku bintu ebimu bye twagala bikolebwe oba amateeka gagobererwe, tusobole okulaba nti tutambuza omulimu guno bulungi. Ekisooka, ba politicians abo oba ba candidates abalonda forms, pickinga forms okugenda okulaga interest nti bagenda kwesimbawo, baba wa regulations za electoral commission ezigaidinga obululu buno. Ekisooka kyetusaba muzigoberere. Zirimu ebintu bingi, ayagala okuzisoma kagende ku website ya electoral commission kweziri. Zogera ku ebintu by'olina okuleeta, obuyigirize ebiki, mubimanyi wano mu elections ez'emabega muze mulaba musanga omuntu bamugambye leeta obuyigirize bwe buti. Agenze ku Nasa Road atakudde empapula, gye kigenda okuggwera nga olunaku alumaze ku poliisi. Waliwo abalala abaleeta empapula nga tezizitowa bulungi. Then ensonyi n'azijjamu obusungu, ogenda okwesanga nga kerere agireese ku streets zaki abantu kwe bakolera emirimu gyabwe. Bw'oba toyina mpapula, there is no reason kulwaki oba ojja olutalo okululeeta ku luguudo. Bw'oba toyina mpapula, get out. So abo nabo tubayina. Panga elections emabega ezo mwali muziwuliddeko ng'omuntu ow'ebipapula ebijingirire olutalo alutute ku street. Okwekweka accountability. Bw'oba tewasoma. Don't disturb people. So ekyo nakyo kikulu. Ekyokubiri ekikwatagana ne engeri gy'okozesaamu enguudo n'amateeka amalala agakwata ku engeri gye weeyisaamu oba kye twaliyise public order. Enguudo ezo ze mukozesa si mwe mweka abazikozesa. Waliwo abantu abagenda mu ddwaliro, abantu abagenda okunoonya ekyokulya. So enguudo ezo si gwe weka zikozesa, zikozese bulungi. Then ekirala, just because ogenda kukima mpapula either ku district or wherever baba gambye nti ogenda ozikime, amateeka ga traffic tekitegeeza nti gaba gazikidde, gakola. So respect traffic regulations. Bwe batugambye nti mujje bulungi, baba gambye nti bamugire mu motoka 2, tewali reason kulaki ojja abantu bonna bajjudde ku motoka yonna bagyetolodde. Before you have seen waliwo abafuna accidents, ate naawe kikutaasa because abantu bano bwe bafunanga accident enkyo ojja kusanga nga bakweripyeko gw'olina okubajjanjaba, taking unnecessary risks. Borders ezivuga obubi. Then waliwo of course ne crime, real crime, nga bwolaba waliwo abakozesa abavubuka zino juzi zetubadde tuyita egaali, nabyo mugezeeko nnyo okubyewala. Naye ate naffe tubagamba nti nga police of course tetujja kumala gakkiriza abantu okuvumirira amateeka. So bwe mulaba nga tuba disorganizinzeemuuko okubateeka mu nteeka, manya nti tuba tukwasa amateeka nga constitution bwetulagira. Naye nga mu byonna tusaba ekintu kimu, mukwatagane ne police. Bw'oba oyina ekintu kyonna kyolaba nti bw'oyogera ne police musobola okukigonjoola, please gituukirire because gwe mulimu gwekola. Erina okubeerawo n'ekuyamba okugonjoola some of the issues oba challenges z'osanga mu maaso awo nga electoral cycle yaffe bwetambula mu maaso. Issue endala gye njagala okubategeezaako, mujjukire nti wano nga 18 omwezi oguwedde nali ntudde wano nemba wa guidelines oba okulabula nti kati abaana bwe bazze mu holidays waliwo ebintu ebimu nga security bye tutera okwekengera ne tubabuulira. Ekintu ekimu kye tumanyi, sometimes to registering incidents wosanga nga abazadde balese abaana abato bokka mu nyumba, ogenda okukakana nga abo abaana bafunye akabenje. Kati emayuge mu magamaga wabaddeyo incident, omwana nga yabadde nga 30 just naku nga 2 emabega. Omwana w'emyaka 4 bamuleka ne munne ow'emyezi 5 mu nju. Ogenda okukakana nga omwana alonze ekibiriiti kye baali balesaawo ku mmeeza, n'akikuma n'ayokya enju, engoye, buli kimu ne bagiramu. Naye ye baneiba basobola okujja ne bamununula, naye oli ow'emyezi 5 n'afiiramu. Tuze tulabula abantu nga tubagamba ebintu bino bibaawo, ffe tubimanyi kyova tubyogerako nti si kirungi kuleka abaana bokka mu nju. N'ekirala, abaana they are juveniles, buli kiseera kyetaaga omuntu omukulu ababeere kumpi, bwe batosobodde wakiri tambula nabo. So accidents zino zibaawo, era kati ng'eno twagifunye magamaga. Waliwo incidents endala ze tubadde twogerako ez'emiriro, tukyaregistering emiriro mingi nga police, naye nga abapoliisi baffe buli bwe bakola assessments bazimya moto basanga one, osanga nti omuntu ayina obukadde n'obukadde bwa business naye nga talina ne fire extinguisher neegi. Oluusi bw'aba nayo osanga nga mu factory y'abantu nga 10 bantu nga 2 bokka bamanyi ogikozesa. Then nosanga factory ina water hydrant, ne water hydrant teina pressure. Ate nga bino ebintu byali badde biba fixed, ne tusobola okukola ki okufuna engeri gye tutangiramu emiriro gino, so that police fire brigade wegenda okutuukirako nga at least naawe olina kyotaasizaako. Issue endala maybe ejasa okubawa amanya g'omwana. Omwana eyafiiridde mu muliro ye Kauda Rashim owa myezi 5. Twafunayo ne incident endala nga 29 August mu Kitugumu district. Omwami omu yagenda n'alumba ebbaala gye bayita Tipse mu Oriang Jumasel mu Kitugumu. Ono yagenda n'asanga abantu abali beesanyusaamu n'abateeka ku gun point, n'agezako okubajjako amasimu n'ebintu ebirala, naye ne bamutabukira ne basobola okumudisaminga n'okumumazaamu omusu. So mwami ono tubaye tetunaba kutegeera linnya lye, naye twasobola okujja ne tusanga nga bali bamugjeeko emmundu AK-47 ng'erina n'amasasi 21. Era on one side twagala okusiima abantu olw'ogezaako okwerwanako, naye tutera okuvumirira ekikolwa kya mob action. Kubanga mob action is problem is mutuuma chance okuinterrogatinga bano abazigu, ate nga information gye tutera okubajjamu olusi etuyamba okukwata abantu abalala. Sometimes mujja kumulaba ne AK-47 eno naye ng'eriko emikono emirala ng'ena, ng'era bwe tuba tusobodde okumukwata usually tufuna chance eyo ne tusobola okumuinterrogatinga n'okukwata abantu abalala ababa beetabye misango gino. Nja kusembyayo story y'abaami be twakute 6 bano nga babadde bagezaako okusindika dollars enjingirire ez'Amerika mu community, era twabasanze ne dollars emitwalo 3 nga ziri mu bando za mitwalo 10. Bano bonna 6 abasajja bateeberezebwa kubanga bava Congo DRC, era nga mwe muli omwami we bayita Muniki Dudu, Amumbere Asiha, Akwinza Dudu Mitira, Shadrack Kaputara, Jean Pierre Hassan ne Musa Ahmed. Twabasanze nga yana bwe twabakolako search twabasanga n'enjaga nayo gye baali bayina, era nga bano bali mu kaduukulu kaffe nga bwe tuteekateeka okubatwala mu kooti. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Yes. Morning. Okay. Okay. Yes, Mutebe. Yes, please. Yes.
How are you going to ensure that when you're handling these political situations which causes an effect, you're not going to allow people to involve? For example, in the political situation.
Oh, we are not going to allow?
We're not going to involve politics in the handling whereby maybe people of a particular party, the hooligans that were telling us are held accountable while people from another party are not held accountable. Could you clarify on that specifically?
Okay. Yes, sir. Maybe chidem bulungi kutegeere bulungi. Okay. Yes.
Mine's about community policing. Last week, I fought cases where officers like two, and moving with other people in casual clothes. They move on at night, maybe at around 8. They arrest people. They take people walking. They take them and maybe idle or one. They ask them their IDs. Some they stop them to release them. I saw a case in Kasuri and another one in Barisal. I don't know the criteria we go through to start arresting people at 8, and which case they check them, and when do we have those IDA disorder cases? This is existing. How long do you take to screen those who are criminal and those?
Okay. So can we go with this? Okay, thank you. I will begin with the matter of full figure. Yeah, full figure. We gave a statement. I think one of my deputies, Onyango, gave a statement, but I can, for purposes of a wider view, just to elaborate it further. There was a video which was circulating on social media spaces showing some individuals assaulting somebody who appeared to be full figure. Then we also received a complaint from her, and as a result, we decided to investigate the matter. Our routines are very, very clear and predictable. If somebody chooses you, then you must explain. So, whereas I may not have the details of how far they have gone, but I can predict that whoever she chooses of having assaulted her, we shall treat him or her the way we treat suspects in those offenses. We shall bring you to the police station to have an explanation against the allegations brought against you. If the evidence is cogent, then we shall process you and take you to court. That's all. The second issue related to the issue of full figure is one of you has asked that how comes she has many cases, but we have not handled them. I think, my friend Mutebe, you need to verify your allegations. When you report a case, you see, you might be here, but when actually you don't have facts. And I've told you the risk of listening to only social media. There are many cases. How many? Where are they? Which are they? You get it? If you feel you are one of them, you act like her. Go to police, reach out to police. If there is any police officer who has failed to work on your case, escalate the matter. Actually, it is an offense. It is disciplinary if a police officer refused to handle a matter, because the matter is supposed to be concluded, where we establish as to whether the accused person or the suspect, there is cogent evidence to pin him or her or not. So if there are those out there, the problem now it is Mutebi reporting on their behalf, and he has not come with any evidence of any case. So let the complainants come out, like the way Fohashi has done. Actually, one of the condemnations here is if, for example, the people who attacked her felt aggrieved, the biggest problem is the methodology and approach. What we always advise, don't constitute yourself into a court. Once you constitute yourself into a court when you are not, then you will be checked. If there are people out there who have cases against her, police stations are open. When police stations don't help you, they have their supervisors, right up to the Inspector General of Police, who is the fountain at the command. He's at the highest level of command of the police force. So that one, I think, let's not speculate. Let people who have cases come out and report. People reported cases, go to our annual crime report. The crime report tells you cases were reported, people were taken to court, investigations were done. So police and investigating is not a new matter. Yes. Let's go to the issue of the third issue, which my colleague raised. If I was to interpret it, she's trying to allay a fear that police would be partisan. Is that true? One, the rules governing these elections are in the open. The regulations are in the open. The laws which Uganda Police Force enforces are not hidden. These are rules, regulations, laws which are circulating all over. And even whoever we usually take on, let it be in an election, let it be anywhere, we handle him in accordance with the law. When we are charging a politician or his followers or a political community, we charge them under the laws of this country. So all police actions are guided by law. So I don't know against what premise are you fearing that this time around we are not going to go by the law. The challenge is maybe if the law was partisan. And you know very well that we are not the ones who make the laws, but the people make these laws through their representatives. But for us, what we do, we enforce laws. Two is we have had incidents where we have altercations with a number of political actors. But every time when we do, we explain circumstances under which. And on most occasions, it is because of violation of certain regulations, which we always mention. But I know at some point we are going to head towards a political environment where a number of these activities will be open. People will be canvassing for votes. But those rules we shall be coming out. Actually, maybe what I need to tell you is that at some point we are going to come out comprehensively and give you the do's and don'ts from a security perspective. If you have challenges with them, please find a way of reaching us so that we harmonize. But otherwise, we don't intend to be partisan. We intend to follow all the regulations as and how they will be laid. If we have an incident or two where one of our own misbehaves, you will need to understand such a situation also note that at times you need to escalate your matter above that officer so that he is realigned in accordance with our disciplinary and professional code. Otherwise, the officers are briefed. The officers are, we have a lot of expectation at command level that they exercise their police privileges, powers, and duties in a professional manner. So let's not speculate that police is going to be partisan. Somebody talked about community policing, and particularly centered on police actions which involve the arrest of persons during late evening hours. He was saying that they arrest them in what appears to be under the accusation of being idle and disorderly. Unless we know a particular incident and the facts associated with that arrest, sometimes you may see somebody being arrested, but when he's being arrested on intelligence, on information. Two, the issue of, I need to clarify, an arrest of somebody by an officer who is not in uniform is not an offense. Let's not ask that again, because this is a matter we have clarified. Or if you are not satisfied, you go and read the laws extensively. If you don't believe me, at least believe the law. An arrest can even be executed by a mwananchi. The powers of arrest are vested in civilians and in the police. When the police officer is not in uniform, he is required to identify himself. If, for instance, a detective was not putting on uniform and he found you either committing an offense or about to commit an offense, he does not, practically he cannot tell you to first wait so that he first goes and puts on uniform and then comes back to arrest you. The framers of these laws knew all that. It was not going to be tenable to only be arrested by men and women in uniform. It is only required for him to identify himself and tell you, I am a police officer, so and so, and I am arresting you or I am apprehending you on the following allegations or suspicions. So there is no law preventing him from arresting you. Two, when he arrests you, at the end of the day, should you be found to have been arrested on flimsy or unsubstantiatable allegations, you will be released. Now, when it comes to offenses of, like, for example, there's no doubt there are communities, and at particularly those awkward hours, when we have very challenging and suspicious conduct by some of our youths. You will recall there are times when you find some youth pickpocketing, breaking into people's vehicles during traffic jam. Now, how best do you want us to arrest them? And when we arrest, those are not idlers. We are not arresting idle and disorderly persons. We are actually arresting persons who are either committing or about to commit offenses. Which offenses, by the way, are of grave public concern. People have come out and shown concern. These youths are pickpocketing people. And you have talked about Kasubi. I hope you know what happens in Kasubi. Actually, you have given the right place where these arrests are most likely needed. But the most important is the mode of arrest, the time, turnaround time within which a suspect is disposed of if he's found to be innocent. Now, lastly, you talked about extortion. Now, extortion, we have given people guidelines time and again how best you can report an extortion allegation. Once there is extortion by a police officer, we have a disciplinary mechanism, which is twofold. Either you go to the police professional standards unit, and this officer is identified, isolated for punishment, or you approach his superiors. And if action is not taken by his most immediate superior, then you bring it to the attention of police management. There are people who have taken those steps before and have got results. So this is the song we are always repeating, but we shall continue saying it, because we may not influence his behavior as to whether he will extort or not, but at least we take charge of the reaction towards his misconduct, and that is by bringing the officer to book. Thank you very much. Maybe I just repeat in Uganda, just very briefly. Issue ya full figure, nga bwe twagambe twabawadde statement through Kampala Metropolitan, naye twagala just okuddawo okubagamba nti kakatambi ke twalabye nga full figure bamu assaultinga, twagala okubategeeza nti yaloopye omusango, era ogwo omusango gutambula, era tugenda gutambuza nga bwe tutera okutambuza. Madam, you are welcome. Nga bwe tutera okutambuza emisango egyo, era abamutuusizaako obuzibu obwo, obujulizi bwe bunaleetebwa obumala, tujja mutwala mu kooti. Ekyokubiri izi waliwo agambye nti omanyi ayina emisango mingi, emisango egyo giriwa? Namwe muveeyo mukole ki? Mugitambuze. Poliisi si kyekitongole ekisobola okutulira omusango gw'omuntu bwe banga tulina obujulizi obusobola okutwala omuntu oyo mu kooti. Waliwo mukwano gwange ayogedde ku kya nti poliisi tutya nti muyinza okwekubirira mu kalulu kano, mu luzungu kye twaliyise being partisan. Poliisi amateeka ge tukwasa ne bwe ba mu elections, mateeka agali mu lujjudde. Tetulinayo mateeka ge tukwasisa ga mu nkukutu. Era bwe tukutwala mu kooti ku tteeka lyakolebwa abantu. Ate tewaliwo nkola gye tukola etali mu mateeka. Yes, weewaawo olusi tufunamu okwesika ne ba politicians. Nga mumanyi nti akalulu mubeeramu okwesika kungi, naye tugezaako nnyo okulaba nti buli kimu tukitambuza mu ddembe. We tutategeregana na ba politicians, tujagezaako okwogera nabo okulaba nti buli kimu kitambulira mu mateeka. So temubeera n'okweraliikirira nti poliisi ejja kwekubirira. Ekisembayo ye mukwano gwange kyaraisinze nti balaba abantu bakwatibwa nga mu bifo bya kasubi nga byekuusa ng'ebya aidan disorderly. Aidan disorderly tetukyakwasa teeka nti kubanga omuntu talina kyakukola ali idle. Naye abantu abamu be mulaba kati nga kasubi gyayogeddeko, ate agambye mu ssaawa nga 2 ez'ekiro. Mukimanyi bulungi waliwo olusi bwe tuba n'abavubuka abakwata mu nsawo z'abantu, abagula amamotoka g'abantu nga gali mu jaamu ne basikulamu ensawo, amasimu, banyaga obusimu bw'abantu ne badduka. So bw'olaba poliisi nga ekola ebikwekweto ng'ebyo, manya nti tuba tugezaako okutaasa abantu n'ebintu byabwe ng'amateeka bwe gatulagira. Ate n'ekirala abantu batera naye ate nga tebali mu uniform. Teriyo tteeka ligana mu poliisi atali mu uniform kukwata muntu. Wano mu luzungu mbawaddeyo sample nti omupoliisi tajja kulaba ng'omenya omusango oba ng'oli kumpi kumenya etteeka, asooka adduka ewaka ewuwe ateekeko uniform then akomewo akusange ng'okyakola ki? Practically tekisoboka. Then n'okubajjukiza nti mujjukire nti etteeka likiriza omuntu yenna n'atali mu poliisi okukwata omumenyi w'amateeka. So bw'eba esobola okukkiriza omuntu wa bulijjo, gwe etteeka ki eryo eriba ligaana omupoliisi atali mu uniform? Jase ekikulu omupoliisi kweyanjula, kukwata bulungi, then n'ekirala kutwala ku station ne bakukyajinga wansi w'etteeka eririyo. Bwe bakusanga nga toyina musango gw'omenye ne bakulekula ate ne bakulekulira mu budde. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Wangi ekyo ekikwata ku kipozi? Processes tujja kuba tuvaayo ne Electoral Commission tubawe guidelines ezina tujja tukwogera nammwe ku bintu ebikwatagana n'enkuba z'enkiiko, rallies n'ebintu ng'ebyo. Tujja kuba tubawe comprehensive explanations ezikwatagana n'engeri gye tujja okwagalamu abantu oba abanabyabufuzi bakubemu enkuŋŋaana zaabwe n'ebirala n'ebirala. Yesebo. Munzikirize nkome wano naye nga sinava ku ntebe eno. Munzikirize nyanjule mukama wange AIGP Dr. Hadija Namutebi. Fande, you are welcome. She's our Director Welfare, Production and Sports. She has a message for you. She has moved with a team, both of police officers and other officials associated with the sports fraternity. And I think we shall have an opportunity to have them introduced. Otherwise, allow me welcome you to speak to our teams here. We are constituted